Oh
Hey,
no!
Jack, what do you say to
Hey, what's
my
going
three
on?
fans on YouTube?
It's one of them's me, Sleepy
Hey,
Reader.
hey, hey, my comic book friends. It is Damien, aka Sleepy Reader. And this time around, I'm doing a haul, adding a little bit about this past Saturday, the Frankenstein Comic Book Swap, which is more like maybe started out as kind of a flea market for comics and is maybe going a little bit more high end now with more professional or semi-professional dealers coming rather than just people cleaning out their basements and throwing stuff out on a table. But still really fun to go to, and a nice social event this time around with a bunch of YouTubers and YouTube related people in the comic book community were there. In fact, in the little opening there, it's kind of garbled because we were both talking at the same time. But that was Jack, who I met through Lorenzo through um, alternative comics, indie comics and reviews. I always think of him as Lorenzo, and then I can't remember the name of his channel. But Jack publishes this horror fanzine, Stapled Spine. This is issue 23, the most recent. So he's put out a lot of issues, and he stays very pure to the old school fanzine approach, which I love. And it's always his magazine's always fun. It was great to run into him there. He, of course, was tied to a table, so we didn't invite him along to lunch because we all went to lunch, or a bunch of us, not everyone, went to lunch at a pub nearby where we had some good beer. There is a picture of Jen. And Jen, in fact, from Comics Will Break Your Heart, showed up also, and I got to say hi to her. She did not stay long enough to come out to lunch with us, or we lost track of her. I'm not sure which. But I met for the first time, uh, I'm going to get it wrong, Big B McFly, the comic book guy, Brian, and for the second time got to meet Chris, Bronze Age Nerd. Primetime Tom was there. Uh, John Stout was there, but he did not stay for lunch. And Comics with Bueller was there. It was fantastic to see him. He was just back in the Northwest, looking thinner than ever. It's kind of shocking how in what good shape he's gotten into. And let's see, there was Scott from, what does Scott call his channel? I can't remember now. And and who else? Oh, Agu Ramos was, and that was awesome to see him. Or Agu Rhythm is the name of his channel. And not only I got to have lunch with all those guys, um, but also got to hang out with Agu a bit after the whole thing was over, before he drove back to Seattle. So that was a highlight for me too. So the social part was a highlight. I kind of went there saying, "Hey, I've got plenty of comics. I really shouldn't buy any more." Um, but I did. I can't really hang out where there's lots of comics and not look and then eventually see stuff I want. So I should have just bought the Stapled Spine, but I got a whole bunch of other stuff to show you. Um, there was uh, I bought two of these old paperbacks. You could call these the first trades of Marvel Comics. Some of these may or may not have even come out before the origin of Marvel Comics. Um, but these are particularly older ones, I believe. And they are not in the format I'm used to. So I'm used to them. The other ones I've had will be in color, and they will break up they'll put a panel or two per paperback page. Um, but here, they kind of reformatted the pages a bit to look kind of like comic strips. So that's a bit weird, but it's in color. I thought it was in black. Oh, the other one's in black and white. So it is the first 8, I think, issues of the Fantastic Four, sort of crammed in here. Um, let's see. Oh, they include the covers there. So yeah, it's not a bad way to read them. I wish I had found these as a kid. I remember I had a Spider-Man one and a Conan one as a kid, or a couple of Conan ones. And that was a great way to get some of those Barry Smith comics that seemed impossible to find at the time. Yeah, so this Thor one is in black and white, so maybe it's even earlier. Let's see if they put a date. 1966. So this is a paperback from 1966. So that's very cool. But they formatted it another way. It's black and white, and they sort of made it as if it was a comic strip on each page. There's how they handle the splash pages. So I guess you're reading along this way, and then you get to a splash page, and you have to turn the comic book back that way, and then turn it back that way to read the rest. All kind of awkward. Oh, look at this. That's interesting. But also kind of fun. Imagine if I had found this book in 1966. I would have been 5 years old. But man, that would have started me into comics 4 years earlier, 5 years earlier. Oh well. Those were, I guess they were fairly priced, but those were amongst the higher items I got. Most of what I got, I'll show you some of the other ones that cost a little more, but most of what I got were 50 centers. So there were still some people selling 50-cent comics, and I found some good ones. I got a Korak Son of Tarzan with a Joe Kubert cover. This is Kubert cover, isn't it? I don't know if I'm, yes, even signed, yeah. And giant insects. I don't, did Korak ever fight giant insects in the Edgar Rice Burroughs books? I suspect that was made up by DC. And then just some issues of The Thing. Wait, I want to get them in the right order. So I was attracted by the covers. Hopefully I'll enjoy the interiors. I think I've read most of Marvel 2-in-1 that had the Adventures of the Thing teaming up with people. But back in the day, I think I quickly fell off of The Thing once it was a solo thing. I can't remember if it was because of the art or what it was, or maybe I just was going through a time where I didn't have a job. So the wrestling career of Vance Astro is not long for this world. I don't even remember who Vance Astro is, but cool cover. And extra cool cover, The Thing is fighting a bunch of women, some of whom or one of whom is quite hairy. It says the gangway for the new grapplers. Looks like we've got every stereotype you can think of. We've got the martial artist, the cowboy, cowgirl. Anyway, yeah, maybe this is a cave woman or something. And then the Sphinx is dying and he's going to take the Thing with him. Who did these covers? Are these Ron Wilson covers? Pablo Marco? No, Paul Neary. This one covers Paul Neary. And all this and the all new Ms. Marvel. So someone suggested to me this was a key issue. It might be the first appearance of Ms. Marvel in this costume. I don't think the costume lasted very long. And then we've got the She-Hulk in her Fantastic Four costume fighting Ms. Marvel. I assume fighting over the Thing. I don't know. I'm not sure what the Thing's expression they're supposed to be. Does he have like snot coming out of his nose? That's kind of weird. Or is that something else? Oh no, that's inside his mouth. Still kind of weird. Can I find a signature on this one? It's Paul Neary and John Byrne. Really? Neary and Byrne. So it's Byrne inking Paul Neary? I'm going to look inside because I think that John Byrne was still the writer on these. He has his own sense of humor, right? And his own attitude towards the female characters. Mike Carlin's the writer. Paul Neary breakdown, Sam De La Rosa finisher. So that's a nice splash page. Going for broke. Okay. So some of them did not have backing boards. Black Goliath, #2. I don't know. I always wanted more Black Goliath comics. My daughter, rightly so, always jokes about how if a character was black back then, he had to have black in his name, and how stupid that is. But it didn't seem stupid at the time for whatever reason. Yeah, so I like these Goliath covers. Is that like a Ron Wilson cover or The cat is unhappy. Are you an unhappy cat? I don't think she's unhappy, but she has a whiny voice. It can drive you crazy. Then I got some man things. The most startling slime creature of all. How many slime creatures are there? um, I don't think of him as a slime creature, but anyway, number 15. Number 16. I remember I had this as a kid with Swamp Thing fighting a Viking. And I think it's the same Viking in this one in number 18. But white hair, maybe he had white hair on the interiors all along. All great Gil Kane covers. And then I got a ton of the Spectre. Now, it turns out I just assumed I didn't have any of them. It turns out I already owned the Spectre 1 through 20. So two of these are doubles for me. But these were all 50 cents. Just amazing covers. There's number 18. Yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? I think I am not servicing her the way I should be as a human. Number 30. Is that a Sienkiewicz cover? Sienkiewicz cover? No, it's a Tom Mandrake cover. I think Tom Mandrake did a lot of interiors on these. And here is one of my favorites, one of my favorite artists, a Kelly Jones cover. My daughter was not impressed by the Kelly Jones cover, but I like it. And don't step on the computer keys. Okay, thank you. I don't know who did this cover, but that's kind of cool. There's some kind of death hourglass theme going on here. A Beekman cover? Could it be a Beckerman cover? I don't know. If these were modern covers, I'd be like, how did they do these in Photoshop or something? But these must have all been physically painted covers by Johnson. Number 35, another Mandrake cover. They at this point they had credits, so yeah, Tom Mandrake is the main interior artist. This cover is really amazing. I can't find a signature on it, but I think the Spectre's sucking up hundreds of souls. Either that or spitting out hundreds of souls. Very, very weird cover. Very creepy. Kyanin, Raphael Kyanin, I guess, did this cover for number 40. So I've got a lot, but not everything of these. Simon Bisley, I'm guessing. No? Olivetti. For Olivetti, it says. Okay. Creepy. I mean, these don't say Vertigo on them, but by the covers, they certainly have a Vertigo kind of feel. Number 43. Yeah, I just love these covers. I better start. I have never read this run. I've clearly been collecting it and I found it cheap. No one else cares, but that's really cool. Is he being overtaken by ravens? It's hard to say, parse, or is the rave? Why did I get a thumbs down? Did something? The computer does not like this cover, but I like it. Here's number 46. The signature is Arnie. Arnie? Weird. Oh, I like this one a lot. And I don't see a signature right away. Power. Huh. A lot of cover artists have come and gone over the years. This is from 96. Okay, now something completely different. I paid a little more for these. I've bought a lot of these in the past, but usually in pretty rough condition. But these were in nicer condition. They're even in Mylar. Little dot, number 75, still 10 cents. And Little dot number 154, now 25 cents. But this is during that era where the 25-cent ones were quite big. So lots of dots, lots of fun with Little Dot. And just one of the last booths or tables I looked at while Travis was talking to the guy behind the table, because Travis knows everybody. While I was standing there, I started looking through the comics, and they had some Captain America, or the early Captain America run that I'm trying to fill out. So I've got 101 there with just that incredible Jack Kirby cover. That sleeper is really kind of striking looking. And then 122, I think that's a Gene Colan cover. The Sting of the Scorpion. So I think I'm very close to filling this out. I don't even know if I want to try to get 100 because it's so much more expensive than everything else in the run. These three ranged from $7 to $15 they cost me. So I thought that was pretty good. Okay, and then one of these dealers had a lot of British comics. So I find them very intriguing. So I just grabbed a few that caught my fancy, like this Savage Sword of Conan, Thing in the Temple. It looks like it's edited out of one of the covers, I think during the Barry Smith run, but by Gil Kane or somewhere around there. Anyway, I think it comes from originally from an American cover. And then Rampage Monthly, starring the Hulk. And those who collect a lot of Hulk will recognize this cover as from the Rampaging Hulk in the US. And it's a Jim Starlin painting. I think it's cropped. I'd have to double check. But I think this isn't just the Hulk in here. I think it'll have various Marvel superheroes. And then from the same dealer, I got this beat up Vampirilla issue quite cheaply. Vampirilla is usually a little on the expensive side, so I just like looking at the art on the inside. So I was happy to get a beat up copy, reader's copy. And that same dealer that had a lot of British stuff was selling 4-packs of more beat up British comics. I think, were these all Spider-Man or partially Spider-Man, I think. So some of these are quite beat up, but I was happy to get them. So there's Spider-Man Comics Weekly, The Impossible Escape. I definitely have the issue that cover came from. But again, I think it's cropped. So it looks, but also maybe it's just because it's on a bigger size. These were magazine size. These are bigger. These British comics are bigger than an American sized comic book. And they are black and white on the inside. And they came out weekly. So they would feature a bunch of different Marvel stories, kind of serializing them. Often 10, 8 or 10 page long segments, and sometimes they had new splash pages added onto them. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not. This one may not have done that, but so anyway, Spider-Man Comics Weekly. Oh, here's one that some kid drew all over the cover. Enter Dr. Octopus. Oh, colored in one of the Spider-Man. Let's see, there's a Thor story at the back. Yeah, I'm not finding the examples of when they drew extra. Yeah, I'm not finding the examples of that. Oh, The Mighty World of Marvel, starring the Hulk. I don't recognize that cover. That it says, oh no, I thought it said Hannigan, but it says Hanger. But I don't think that's the original splash page. So that's an example Oh, this one's really falling apart. That's an example of when they had to add an extra splash page. Here's another example. This is a Gene Colan, but this is not a Gene Colan drawing. This is an issue drawn by Gene Colan of Daredevil, but they had to add this extra splash page. So you can see when you turn the page and see an actual Gene Colan splash page, the difference. Unfortunately, they don't credit the artists who did these pages. I think Larry Lieber did quite a few, and other artists who were kind of new to the bullpen at the time. Another Mighty World of Marvel. That was cool. And then for me, the ultimate thing that I got at this from that dealer, but at this Frankenstein event was Planet of the Apes #1 from the UK. I have all the other issues. Many years ago, well, some years ago, eBay had this thing where you could get postage from England cheaper than normal. So I think they probably got their own like pallet or something of a bunch of British shipments and shipped them all at once to the US. So I bought a giant box of every British Planet of the Apes except for #1. And then when I looked at the time, the #1 seemed to be going for like $150 or something. I couldn't find any ones under $100 or maybe 90. I don't know. I don't remember, but way over what I wanted to pay because the other issues I'd paid like $2 a piece is what it came out to be, even with the postage. But I think the prices have become more reasonable now, and this one was $15. And after I bought this, I did check on eBay because I thought at first, whoa, I'm getting it for like 10% of what it would cost normally. But I think the prices were just very inflated. Maybe that was COVID time. But I think these normally go for maybe about $30, but $15 is an out of the price range of them on eBay of sold copies. So I didn't feel, retrospectively, I don't feel like I ripped off the dealer or anything like that. But nevertheless, I was very happy to complete that whole run of Planet of the Apes. I am just sort of fascinated by British versions of things. And Planet of the Apes has the special feature of, I don't know, having maybe about 10 issues where they took Kill Raven stories and converted them into Planet of the Apes stories. So I should do a video about all the British Planet of the Apes sometime. So that's the haul. I had a great time hanging out with people. So thanks to everyone who came out for the lunch. And the next one's in October. So I hope we get to do it again, maybe meet some more people.